So my name is Antoine Wade. I'm a licensed attorney in Washington, D.C., born and raised in Prince George's County, Maryland. I specialize in trademark law, copyright law, contract law, and I ensure that my clients are protected through each of those things. Most of the clients that I assist are emerging brands, so anybody that is making noise and breaking ground in their respective industries at this point that not too many people really know about, but in about the next 3 to 5 years, you should be hearing from those people. And each of my clients are ambitious. You know, they're in positions where they want to take care of their families, and they're all about being free financially. And so with that, it's a great connection and synergy amongst my clients. Well, I don't really refer to them as my clients. I like to refer to my clients as partners because we work together. And we just have the same mindset, just a go-getter mentality, and that creates great synergy and great work. Man, so my law school experience, well, at least my journey to get there and the reason why I decided to go is pretty unique. So I grew up like playing football, playing sports since the age of 10, and always had like a deep connection with sports. And so playing like boys club football and even being in my household, like my parents and my family, they always told us to have like a backup plan just in case sports didn't work out. And so from the age of 13, I had that solid foundation that, hey, I might not make it to the NFL. I might not even get a Division I scholarship. But at some point, I always knew that sports was going to be a thing that I wanted to be involved in. So I went to DeMatha Catholic High School. It was one of the most prestigious academic and athletic programs in the country. And my junior year, we was ranked 5 in the country, ranked 5th in the country. We played a couple of games on ESPN. And I remember sitting in my government class with a lot of my teammates who were also taking the class. And I looked around and I was just like seeing them goof off and joke around because like these guys, they actually had Division I offers. They had promising futures in football. And it just hit me that, you know, dag, like I'm not gonna be a guy with, you know, the Division I opportunity or even have a chance at making the NFL. And so at that time I was 17 years old, and I just remember like my parents and like my coaches just growing up in Little League football saying, you know, the NFL is not gonna be promised. And so from that point on, it hit me that, you know what, I'm gonna give this law school thing a try. So then I started researching, okay, how can I tie the law into my passion for sports? And then that's when I came across a thing called sports agency. And when I started researching sports agents, I started seeing that the best sports agents at the time, a guy who, you know, comes to mind is Drew Rosenhaus. And I started to research Drew Rosenhaus and a couple of other sports agents. And I started to see that they all had law degrees. So when I saw that, I was like, oh man, if I want to be, you know, representing, if I still want to have that connection with sports and still be able to, you know, go to law school, I need to become a sports agent. If I want to represent, you know, the guys that Drew Rosenhaus was representing at the time, he was representing Terrell Owens, Sean Taylor, you know, Chad Ochocinco, like all the top guys that I looked up to as a young player. I'm like, man, if he's doing that, if he took the route of going to law school, then I got to do the same thing. So I decided to go to law school because I wanted to be a sports agent, but not knowing that you don't have to go to law school to become a sports agent. So my journey and the reason why I went to law school was literally based in my passion for sports and wanting to represent players. I didn't even know anything about trademark law or intellectual property until I got to my last year in law school. So it's 3 years in law school, and it wasn't until my first semester of my last year that I got exposed to intellectual property and trademarks and copyrights. And the only reason why I found out about that is because I started a clothing brand while I was in law school. And I ended up taking a trademark law clinic class. So a clinic class is pretty much a class where people come to the law school clinic because they may not have enough money to afford an actual attorney. So we perform pro bono services. And so I had this clothing brand, and then one of my best friends, Jordan Jackson, he designed a logo for me. And one of my classmates was like, yo, that's a cool design. Like, you should really look into actually protecting it. And I was like, what you mean protecting it? She was like, I'm gonna show you, go on this, the uspto.gov, you can actually like protect it as a trademark. So I was like, wow, that's crazy, because right now I'm in a trademark clinic class. So it kind of all tied together. It was like perfect timing. So at the time where I was building my brand and learning how to, trademark and protect logos, I was taking a class that was allowing me to learn the ins and outs of trademark law. And then when I figured out, like, man, people can actually protect their brands, like entrepreneurs, I was like, man, this is something that I can do, because, as a professional, because most of my friends and my colleagues, and even during this time, like in society, everyone is venturing into entrepreneurship. They got 9-to-5s or whatever, they still going into entrepreneurship. So I said, man, this could be a way that I can, really help people grow and elevate their businesses, and let them know, like, yo, you can't just jump off the porch and just start like doing business. Like, you actually have to like go about it the right way, make sure your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. Like, you gotta protect your assets. And so when I figured that I can help people do that and help them elevate and grow and do business at a top level, then I was sold. I was like, man, this is what I'm going to do. There's a general consensus amongst law students that the first year is the hardest year. And I'm a first generation college student on both sides of my family. So not only was I the first person in my family ever to go to law school, I was the first person to ever go to college, a 4-year college. I mean, my mother went back, later on when she got older, but like straight out of high school, going into college, a 4-year university, I was the first person to ever do that. And so going into law school, it was just I had to adapt to the learning environment. It was a learning curve, jumping from, Morehouse College and then going into law school. It was like a whole different learning experience. I knew it was going to be tough, but I didn't know that it was going to be so tough to the point that I was going so close to failing out my first year in law school. It was crazy, man. Like, just the balance, trying to balance like life and just work, and just trying to, make your family and your friends proud of you. But yeah, that first year was hectic, man. I almost failed out of law school my first semester. We were supposed to have, at least by the end of the first semester, and this is gonna sound crazy, what I'm about to say, but they wanted us to at least have a 1.4 GPA by the end of the first semester. I ended the first semester with a 1.6. And I was so happy. Like, because I thought I wasn't gonna make it. Like, during the course of my first year, I'm like, man, I'm gonna fail out. Everybody gonna be mad at me. I'm gonna let a whole bunch of people down. But when I saw that 1.6, I was like, oh man, I got another chance. But see, at that time, like, I could have just like got down on myself and just gave up. But I looked at it as an opportunity to redeem myself, and that's what I did. And so by the end of the full year, the full academic year, by the end of that second semester, I had to bring that 1.6 up to a 2.0, which is what I did. And I actually finished that year with a 2.01. Not a lot of people know that. Like, I went through like the real struggle in law school. So when I came back to school the following year, one of my academic advisors was telling me that, he was like, man, you did something that nobody else has like done since I've been in law school, since I've been at this law school. And he's been at the law school for about 20 plus years. And he said, bro, you broke a record. Like, you did something that not too many like people just don't do. Like, you brought your GPA up from a 1.6 to a 2.01. So when I saw that, I saw like I was able to, my back was against the wall, and I was able to like get myself out of that situation and come out on the other side successful. I was like, man, mentality, I was like, oh, nothing could stop me at this point. Like, I had a 1.6, it can't get no worse than that. So any obstacles that I'm faced with going forward, I know that I can conquer it and just, be the greatest that I can be. I'm looking to accomplish something that people have never seen before from an attorney. In this legal industry, it can be really starch. It's a real conservative industry, real dry. But I don't come from that. Like, I'm not a dry, conservative person. Like, the way I grew up, it's completely contrary to what people would think an attorney should talk like or look like. I got knowledge about trademark law, contract law, intellectual property, just business in general, that is not being put out the way how I'm about to put it out. Like, the way I'm about to deliver the knowledge and share this knowledge, like, nobody, you're not gonna see it from any other attorney that's putting it out the way that I'm putting it out. And so I want people to be able to engage with the information, because law can be really boring. Like, if you're looking at case law and, black ink, just the black letter law, it can be really boring. And so that's what I'm here for. I'm here to be more so like a supplement or support to that. So people can be like, man, he make intellectual property look cool. He make trademark law look cool. He make contract law look cool. So I'm just here to be relatable, to anybody that's looking to learn more about intellectual property and that's looking to protect their businesses, because I'm doing it in a way that nobody is doing it.